Greetings, programs! It is I, the CPU 001, and welcome back to another episode in the Trails in the Sky. And we're going in the Bracer Guild. There you two are. Good morning, Estella. Good morning, Joshua. Good morning, Anna. Good morning. Is Shara here already? Yes, she's waiting for you upstairs. Once you finish today's training, you'll finally be recognized as members of the Bracer Guild. Good luck to both of you. Thanks. We'll do our best. There she is. The Star and the Hanged Man. The Hermit and the Magician. And last of all, inversion through the Wheel of Fortune. This is a difficult combination. How should I interpret this? Good morning, Shara. Well, if it isn't Estella and Joshua. This is a rare occurrence for both of you to show up so early. Since it's my last day of training, I figured, why not? I'm ready to get this show on the road and become a bracer myself. I'll give you credit for your enthusiasm. But I'm going to work you hard today in every way I can think of to make sure a high-spirited attitude of yours holds up. I hope you're ready. I can feel the enthusiasm dropping already. Quite you. Every time I teach you something, you somehow manage to forget it. This training is my way of trying to keep some of that information in your head instead of letting it dribble out your ears like it usually does. Ah, Joshua! Shara's picking on me. Don't worry, Shara. While Estella maybe hates studying and rarely ever does her homework, acts rashly and overly naive, and has a tendency to stick her nose into everything, her instincts are sharp, so I'm sure she'll pick up on how to use an orbment with some practice, eventually. Probably. I guess there's not much I can do now except hope for the best. Hold on a second, Joshua. Somehow I get the feeling you weren't standing up for me. Well, that's odd. I'm positive I described all your best traits accurately. Whatever. By the way, Shara, what are you trying to predict with your tarot cards? Face was really intense. Oh, this? I was just trying to get some vague reading about what might happen in the near future. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have been in the right mindset to interpret the cards correctly. You couldn't read the cards? Now that's surprising to hear. Actually, the more profound the meaning of the cards, the more difficult they are to interpret. But that's not important now. I think it's time we start with final training. I'll give you a brief rundown of all the information we've covered in the previous training. This is the minimal level of knowledge that bracers should have in order to function efficiently. And Estella, make sure you pay a special close attention to what I'm going to say. Yeah. Okay, folks, it is tutorial time. It's time to run through all the game mechanics and stuff. Oh, good grief! I am going to put this episode out. If you do want to skip this bit, you can. But this is going to take up most of the episode. What would you like to know about? So, this is basic stuff. So you've got orbments. Orbments are this game's materia. If you've ever played Final Fantasy VII, you will know what materia is. This orbments I can sum up as materia. Bracers is the guild, and the Libra Kingdom is more or less where we are. So let's go with orbments first. So orbments are mechanical devices which operate by using what is known as orbal energy. A variety of effects can be produced depending on their structure and the type of quartz or processed septum installed. Although it's only been about 50 years since their invention, these devices play an integral role in all facts of life, from lights, heaters and other everyday products to weapons, magic and even airships. In connection, this technology reform is commonly known as the Orbal Revolution. So, bracers. Bracers are investigative and combat specialists who work to protect citizens and maintain stability of their respective regions. They aid the community in various ways, such as exterminating monsters, preventing crime, finding lost items, and escorting people and goods. The Bracers Guild, which has established branches across the continent, manages the affairs of the Bracers in each region. And Liberl Kingdom. The Kingdom of Liberl, in which we live, sits on the western half of the Zemurian continent and abounds with nature and deep-rooted tradition. Liberl is proud to be one of the leading producers of Septium on the continent and is known for its high level of technology used to develop orbments. Orbment technology has also been a key pillar of support for Liberl in protecting its independence as it has contended with neighbouring nations. 10 years ago, when Liberl was invaded by the Ereborian Empire, it was the use of orbital-powered airships that saved the kingdom from defeat. Consequently, even now our relationship with the Empire is somewhat sensitive, but thanks to the Queen's political finesse, Liberl enjoys peace. So this gives you a rough idea of how ridiculously in-depth this game could be. So that's those three subjects, so let's carry on. Let's see. Since we've got a mountain of stuff to do today, I'll let you off the hook this time with a condensed review. I'm going to speed things up and move on to practical portion of your training. Shara? How is today's practical training any different from the training we've been doing before? Well, since it's practical, that means you'll be experiencing things firsthand. Therefore, I am going to have both of you run through everything as if this was a real Bracer job. So what you're saying is, there won't be any studying at a desk involved? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. This time you'll have to go out and make a physical effort to accomplish your tasks. I'll make sure to have you work up a sweat, so I hope you're ready. Yes! This is seriously just what the doctor ordered. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I didn't know what I was gonna do if I had to sit through another day of my tush parked on a desk. I guess I got all worried for nothing. Well, suddenly you're all bright and cheerful, Estella. Let's just hope that smile on your face lasts until the end of the day's training. Okay, let's get cracking. Your first objective, shall we? Yeah, let's have it. Your first objective will be to confirm the details of the job you will be performing. But before that, there's something that we need to give both of you. Anya, are you ready? Yes, there you are. Alright, you two, go get one each for yourselves. We talk to Anya. These are very important, so make sure you don't lose them. Bracer notebook. We'll cover this. Bracer notebooks serve as the official way to record the status of your current jobs. Also, anything you may hear or anything that you may find and where. These kinds of trivial things can often become clues. No matter how insignificant something may seem, always write it down. Understood. Crap, this sounds like it's going to be a pain. Oh. Please tell me it was my ears playing tricks on me, because I swear I only got one response. I'm sure there were two. Keeping an accurate account of events is an important duty for all bracers. So get with the program and stop trying to make this out to be more than it really is, Stella. Okay, I got it. Make sure you do. Alright then, let's begin. Look over by the door, you can see the bulletin board standing there. First, I want you to go and check the job description posted there. When the bulletin board is approached, an exclamation mark will appear. Pressing the OK button will display the job list. By selecting the job names on the list, you can view their details. We run over here. So this is your job list. We've only got one here at the moment. So training, retrieval. So you get a brilliantly presented in a little poster and everything. Client Charizard, pay 500 Mira. Details, direct request. This training will involve searching the sewers beneath Roland and bringing back the content of a chest. See Charizard for details. Details of the job confirmed on the bulletin board and other important events will be automatically recorded in the notebook. The notebook can be easily found by clicking the Books tab in the item menu. It can be accessed by configuring the Bracer Book shortcut button in the configuration menu. Very good. It looks like you were able to see what was posted without any trouble. Checking the bulletin board is one of the most basic functions a Bracer performs on their job. Checking regularly to see whether or not there is any urgent tasks which need immediate attention is also an important duty for Bracers. Man, all this talk about duty and starting to crap my style. Sure, there are a lot of rules to follow, but there's an equal level of responsibility in the jobs themselves. I think being a Bracer calls for much more than someone with a half-hearted attitude. Ah, I guess you're right. I'll just have to be more motivated. How'd you change of heart, have we? You betcha. Well, before all that motivation sneaks off somewhere, let's get to work on your next task. What will we be doing this time? We'll be heading across the street to Mr. Melder's Orbital Factory and learning about how to use its services. He has graciously taken the time out of his work schedule to explain things to make sure, so make sure to be on your best behavior. Okay. So here we are in the factory, ran past at the beginning of the episode. Here's where you will learn how to use the Orbital Factory services. At any Orbital Factory you can modify your orbments and synthesize support quartz in order to use Orbital Arts. Arts have a wide range of effects, if mastered can be extremely helpful. The Bracer business is a pretty risky occupation, so the guild has had a long-standing relationship with Orbital Factories. Anyway, this is about as much as I can explain. I'll leave the technical details to the expert. So, Mr. Melder, if you wouldn't mind taking over for him? No problem, leave everything to me. So, what is it you would like to know about? So, again, as I said, this is the tutorial episode. So, here we go. Orbments. Orbments are mechanical devices which exhibit an array of effects through the installation of various types of quartz. By definition, that means that lights, airship engines, and so on are also types of orbments. However, the ones we will be discussing today are battle orbments, which enhance the user's physical abilities and make it possible to use magic. Since each orbment is adjusted to match the owner's personal attributes, the structure of these devices also differs for each owner. Simply put, the shape of the fixed element slots and lines which connects them vary. At any rate, that's a layman's explanation. In order to install quartz, you must first have an open slot. By default, the central slot is open, but other slots must be open in an Orbital Factory like this. It will take a fair amount of set diff to do. AP, which is needed for magic, will also see a max increase according to the number of open slots. I recommend opening them all as soon as possible. So, what is it you'd like to know about? So, Orbital Arts. Simply put, Orbital Arts are magic which can be distracted exclusively through the use of battle orbments. In other words, a number of particular effects can be produced by using orbital energy stored within these mechanical devices. Since Orbital Arts can be a mouthful, they are almost universally referred to as arts. Probably ought to have been called that from the get-go. There are several types of arts, but in order to be able to use them, their corresponding quartz must first be synthesized at Orbital Factory. Orbments are also set up so that once a particular quartz is installed into a slot, the owner will be able to use those arts. The type of arts one can use also changes depending on the elemental value of the combination of installed quartz. Basically, if you want to use water arts, all you have to do is install quartz with a water elemental value. In reality, orbments are much more complex than what I have described, but I think this information should suffice for now. So, next is quartz. Quartz are circuits made of seraph. Quartz have a vast number of effects and rises the owner's abilities while simultaneously making it possible for them to use arts. However, you will not be able to harness any of these effects until Quartz has been installed into a slot. However, there are also fixed slots in which only a certain type of elemental quartz can be installed. This being the case, when you synthesize a new quartz, be sure to check your orbment and decide where you will be installing it ahead of time. So, what would you like to know about? And we'll move on to Seraph, finally. Seraph are fragments of septim. Sepith is fragments of septim which are dropped by monsters. These are divided into 7 types: Earth Brown, Water Blue, Fire Red, Wind Green, Time Black, Space Gold, and Mirage Silver. Seraph can be exchanged for Miria almost everywhere, but at the Orbal Factory it can be used to synthesize quartz and to open orbment slots in which to install synthesized quartz. It looks like Mr. Mulder has answered all your questions. If there's nothing else, then let's have you both try and use the services here. For now, you're going to need some Seraph. Ka-ching! With that amount, you two should be able to synthesize a few quartz. Now, I want you to begin by first making an elemental quartz that will work with each of your particular orbments. In your case, Estella, any elemental quartz is okay, but for you, Joshua, it has to be a time elemental quartz. Normally, at a shop, you would be able to exchange Seraph for Mira, but for the training, you will not be able to use this service. Upon approaching the counter, talk mark will appear. Press the OK button, displaying a list of options. Select Modify or Trade to use the Orbal Factory services. So much information! Right, Modify Trade. Right, so here we have our options, and here we have the amount of Seraph that we have available. Now, I've already done this part, so I've got an idea what to buy. So here we have the option where we can you click slots, and it gives you choose the character, and this allows you to open one of the slots. This one's the middle one, it's open, and here you have how much it will cost to open each one. And as you can see, if I mouse over, you see the box on the to the left. It tells you how much is needed to open each slot. So mean old Shara here hasn't actually given us enough to open any slots, but that's okay, we're not actually going to be doing that. What we want to do is go to quartz, and so here we have each of the different quartz here. Now I'm going to buy, now that's the time one, which only Joshua can use, and Estella can use all of them. Now I'm going to buy a action one, time one for Joshua, and I'm going to buy a water one for Estella. The reason being, water allows you to heal. This is your healing. This provides healing magic. So let's do that. And then I think that's it. Alright, it looks like you two were able to synthesize one. Next, I want to increase the arts you can use. Now install a quartz into your orbments so that you can use both recovery and attack arts. Quartz can be installed in the orbment screen. The orbment screen can be utilized by selecting the orbment tab in the menu. So if I bring up the menu, hit orbment, and now it tells me, and then I can select Estella, and I will give her this one, give her the water one, because she can use everything, and then for Joshua, I will give him that one, because he can only use time. And that, I believe, should be it. Alright, it looks like you two both got recovery and attack arts set up. If you balance your arts out between each other, if you balance your arts out between each other like you've done here, it should make dealing with monsters much easier. Additionally, your Bracer notebook contains information about which quartz allows you to use which arts. If you'd like to use more powerful arts, check out the arts and quartz charts in your Bracer notebook to find something that works for you. Alright, our training here is almost finished. Last of all, I'm going to have one of you open a new slot in your orbments. The more slots you have available to you, the broader range of choices you have. Since EP, which is consumed by using arts, can have its maximum value increased by opening up slots, it would be a good idea to open them all early on. Now I want you to use the Seraph and open a slot in each of your orbments. Go ahead and decide which slots you're going to open. And receive several of each type of Elemental Seraph. So if I go back over to him, modify and trade, slots, go to Estella, and she has now given us enough Seraph to open one of the slots. So I will open... Now, as you can see, this tells you you've got the lines here that connect each of the slots. So on Estella's, I can open either this one or this one. So that's that one down there, and that's that one over there. So let's go ahead. Let's open that one. Okay. And now I think I need to open one on Joshua's as well, or have I got... No, I don't have enough to open one on Joshua's, never mind. I've chosen Estella because she can use everything, so I suppose she will be the best person. I see you've managed to open one of your orbment slots, Estella. Since your central slot is not limited to a particular elemental, you are free to install any type of quartz you like. This concludes your training here at the Orbital Factory. Now it's time to move on to what you've both been waiting for, your qualification test. Pardon? Did you say test? You can't honestly tell me that you've forgotten about the test again, can you? Didn't I remind you just this morning? Now that you mention it, I vaguely remember some sort of talk about those lines at the breakfast table. Sometimes I fear for the future of the Bracer Guild and humanity. Oh well, no sense in worrying about that now. Let's head over to the testing area. You mean like now? I don't know if I'm ready for... How about a little less yapping and a little more walking? Ah! Joshua, help me! Mr. Belda, Freddy, thank you for all your help. Dub mentioned it, and good luck with your tests of yours. We'll be rooting for you. I'm gonna remember that you left me high and dry like this, Joshua. All your training has finally come down to this. Your qualification test will begin here. I expect to see you both use what you've learned up to this point. Understood. Huh? What's wrong, Estella? Shara? What now? I was kind of wondering, but is there not going to be a paper test or something? Did Cassius drop you on your head as a child or something? You just read what it said on the bulletin board not that long ago, right? Yeah, and? And I even made you jot down I even made you jot down what you read in your Bracer notebook, unless you've got that too. I'm pretty sure the job listing mentions searching and retrieving an item from the sewers. Ringing a bell yet? Ah, what a relief. Oh, divine Adius, I give thanks to thee for thy infinite grace in bestowing upon us such a wonderful gift as sewers. So what you're really saying is that you thought it was a paper test. No wonder you were acting all crazy back at the Orbital Factory. Ah, I can already feel the nostalgia. Oh, those horrible days stuck in a classroom are starting to feel like grand memories indeed. I'm really starting to wonder if we'll ever be able to graduate at all. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Why do you have to go and say something like that when I'm trying to reminisce about positive things? Alright, that's enough jabbering, you two. This is supposed to be a test, so how about you both try to at least look a little anxious? Just so you know, though, if you happen to flunk the test, you don't even want to imagine the kind of homework I'll have in store for both of you. We'll be fine. Just tell us what you want us to do, and let us loose. Well, if you're so confident, then how about proving you're not just blowing hot air in the results of your test? Anyway, as you both saw in the bulletin board, this test will be a search condition in Roland's sewers. Your objective is to retrieve the content of a chest which has been placed somewhere within that area. The layout of the sewers is extremely simple, so you don't have to worry about getting lost either. However, there are real living, breathing monsters down there, so if you get careless, let your guard down, you will be sorry. Also, let me give you this before I forget. Dear Bombs! Monster Guide. What's this book for? It's called a Monster Guide, and it's used to record information about monsters and their opponents you meet. Whenever you figure out your enemy's attributes, you should make an immediate note of this in here. Sounds pretty straightforward to me. He who controls the flow of information controls the tide of battle, right? That's exactly what I'm saying. You've really got a head on your shoulders, Joshua. That's some pretty useful advice. Thanks for the tip, Shara. Well, put it to good use. Alright then, let's get pumped and knocked out this test. Let's. Don't forget, though, this is an exam. We should make sure we treat it as such. And here we are in the sewers. I apologise for my wonderful reading skills, I really do. I'm going to wrap this one up here. We'll continue this in the next episode. This is the CPU 001 signing out. Have a good day. Bye-bye.